Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque, and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, King Canary Star died. He fell into a burrow and was buried alive, and he lost all of his lives going to Star Clan. And of course, we had the rise of a new king in Fernstar. So, along with that, we had a few changes to the King's Court, obviously. And it was the final moon for our apprentices before they become warriors, which is going to happen in this episode, so I'm super excited about that. And then the kittens that were born in the moon before, they aged up and opened their eyes, and after a lot of thinking, guys, I think my favorite out of the three kittens might actually be Pale Kit. The one with the single coat, the light brown kitten with the single coat and the hazel eyes. I don't know what it is, but the combination of the coat and eyes. I know single coat is not always as exciting as some of the more patterned ones, but something about that combination to me just feels so perfect for the grotto, and I think I love Pale Kit the most right now. That might change again when they're a bit older, but for now, as kittens, I think Pale Kit is my favorite. But okay, let's go straight to the leader's den. And King Fernstar is still in mourning from losing the last king. So Crowpelt, his right hand, is going to take care of the gathering. But let's roll the dice to see how things are going to go. Okay, we have a 3 on the D10, which is Liar Clan, and we have a 5 on the D8, which is Befriend. So this is a good way, I suppose, to start his reign, giving a different message from the previous king. So let us go ahead, guys, and skip a moon. When Liar Clan arrives at the gathering, Crowpelt shifts over to make plenty of room for their leader on the leader's perch. Liar Clan's leader jumps up and dips their head to Crowpelt. Liar Clan relations have improved. Icicle Speck has gotten a white cough. That can be dangerous. I feel like all the coughs can be dangerous, because I've had cats die from every single one of the coughs. Like green cough, yellow cough, and white cough. No one is going to blame Smokewater for the pride he displays in successfully asking Fernstar to become his mate. It's a wonderful life event to celebrate and something to rightfully congratulate the couple on. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Smokewater, who up until this point has been, I feel like, largely faithful to Fernstar. Yes, he deviated to Scorchmoss for like a moon, I think, giving attention to Scorchmoss, but that's only because he was frustrated after realizing that Fernstar was actually just using him and Fernstar wasn't going to reciprocate ever. Fernstar just, I think, was liking the attention. And Fernstar's always, I think, preferred Watergale more. She's kind of has kept both of them on his coattails, but I think he has always preferred Watergale more. But the fact that Smokewater actually went for it, instead of doubting and questioning, maybe Smokewater was seeing that Watergale is very happy with Scorchmoss and his kittens, and there's no way Watergale's ever going to reciprocate with Fernstar. And Smokewater decided he's not going to wait around anymore, he's just going to go for it and see how Fernstar feels. And Fernstar, perhaps realizing the reality of his situation, that there was no space for him in Watergale's life anymore, decided to accept Smokewater and finally reciprocate. So that is kind of mind-boggling. This was like the last thing I expected out of everything that was supposed to happen. Okay, Fernstar gathers the clan for a meeting. He has spent many moons training Shining Paw, and it is time for him to be granted his warrior name. Fernstar gives him the name Shining Blink and honors his responsibility. Shining Blink? I'll have to think about that name. It is very intriguing. But okay, we have Shining Blink over here, and I completely forgot that Shining Paw was being trained. I mean, I knew he was being trained by Ferntail, but the transition that, yes, his mentor was now the king. He was like the king's apprentice. If you think about it, he had the ultimate training. But he still graduated the middle of the batch. Flarepaw wakes up from yet another nightmare, feeling as though she's being haunted by the ghost of the one she grieves. So Flarepaw is having dreams about her father, and it's like terrible, terrible dreams, and she feels like her father's haunting her. Oh my goodness. Fernstar calls the clan to a meeting and declares Flarepaw to be a warrior. She is now called Flareclaw and is celebrated for her determination. Flareclaw. I'm gonna have to think about that as well, but interesting name. As the clan cheers for the new warrior, Bearfog, Buttercup Fin purrs loudly. Her kit is finally a warrior. A new journey has begun for Bearfog, and Buttercup Fin knows that Bearfog's intensity will lead him through anything. I kind of like Bearfog. Bearfog is an interesting name. All of them are, but I don't know. I kind of like the way Bearfog looks even. But okay, that's what we have going on here, and with his warrior name, Bearfog is going to be awarded the title of the Bear Prince. Bearfog was seen touching noses with Elona. Scandalous. The clan has encountered Magpie, another potential member of Servant Clan. Rumors reach your clan that the exiled Bramblepaw has died recently. Okay, and Firekid has gotten rid of all her fleas, so one of the Servant Clan cats has passed away. One of the Servant Clan apprentices has passed away. Okay, let's take a look at our warriors. I'm so excited. Some of them are still in mourning, of course, but we have Bearfog over here, who is... I'm wondering if I should keep Bearfog or not. I don't know, guys. But yes, was one of 3 apprentices in his batch and graduated as the Bear Prince. Bearfog. Bearpetal. Bearfog's kind of interesting. Oh yes, before I get to names, he's Shameless. Okay, so he has actually aged up to be a shameless cat who is a great teacher and a good swimmer. I need to check how their mentors influence them as well. Okay, very intriguing. Let's take a look. Especially because he had the 2 mentors. I think his sister will have an interesting note over here as well, because she had to change mentors after her own mentor Scorchmoss entered the court. Okay, so Bearfog, he was mentored by King Canary Star and Flailstorm. King Canary Star influenced him to be more likely to adapt easily, bicker with others, and bend rules. Flailstorm influenced him to be more likely to interact with others and use words over teeth and claws. King Canary Star helped him become better at teaching, and Flailstorm also helped him become better at teaching. When he graduated, he was honored for his intensity. Okay. So his father taught him to be adaptable to the changes in the environment you're in, but within that, kind of don't fear fighting your own point and your privilege, even if it means bickering with others. And also, when you are in the position and power to do so, bend the rules as you wish to do what you need to do, right? To maintain your sense of privilege, I feel like, would be something that for sure Canary Star would pass on to his kids and his apprentice. So that's interesting. Flailstorm, meanwhile, had a very different approach to things than King Canary Star, who was very cold. Flailstorm, I feel like, had a lot more warmth to him, and he encouraged Bearfog to actually get to know the cats around you, interact with them, build relationships, and talk things out rather than fighting with them, right? Rather than bickering with them. But Canary Star had a way of teaching, or maybe saw that Bearpaw had potential. There we go. Potential for teaching, and he really honed that, and Flailstorm built on that. So that's actually really cool. But the fact that Bearfog ended up being shameless, but this totally makes sense with the way his maybe father taught him. It was all about, I feel like, privilege, and Bearfog took advantage of that. Yes, through hard work, but also now he's shamelessly going to maintain and pursue his privilege within the clan as the first king's son, right? As the Bear Prince even. So really, King Canary Star was preparing him for a life of being an elite among royals. But okay, his name, Bearfog. I might end up changing it. Bearspark? Bearspark? Bearspark, Bearblotch, Bearpelt. I kind of like Bearpelt even. I might change it to Bearpelt. I like Bearpelt. Okay, so this is going to be Bearpelt. And then we have... I should have gone in order of oldest to youngest. Silly me. It's okay. We have Shining Blink, whose name I'm going to change. He is righteous, lawkeeper, and good kid sitter. Okay, Shining Stripe. What's his... Should I do Shining Stripe? Maybe we'll do Shining Stripe. I kind of like Shining Stripe more than Shining Blink. Okay, so Shining Stripe, let's have a look at him. Let's see. He was mentored by Fernstar. Fernstar influenced him to be more likely to follow rules and be friendly towards others. Fernstar helped him become better at remembering lore. When he graduated, he was honored for his responsibility. Now, I think what I was trying to say for Bearpelt, but I was actually meaning to say for Shining Stripe, was that he was trained by the right hand and the king. It was one mentor, but his mentor served as both right hand and then later became king. So I feel like Shining Stripe kind of got the best of royal training, because literally the two highest ranks in royalty were the ones who shaped his personality and skills. So with Fernstar, him being a faithful cat, I can totally, and before that he was loyal, I can totally see him encouraging his apprentice to follow the way of life within the clan and not go against the grain, because everything exists for a reason. The system exists for a reason. And it's, fair to everyone as well when you follow the rules and be friendly towards others. And this is kind of what we see with the way King Fernstar is choosing to focus the clan in helping others, the independent groups within the forest. He likes maintaining relationships, not kind of controlling relationships. So he would encourage Shining Stripe to be friendly towards all the other cats and helped him become better at remembering lore. I kind of like this as a way of maybe Fernstar encouraging Shining Stripe to remember the past, because the past is what is going to shape the future, and you have to know, for example, the kind of king your father was and the kind of king that I am trying to be, and that there's a difference between us two, and sometimes that difference is something you have to keep in mind to draw the line between what should be done and what shouldn't be done, what's going to harm the clan, what's going to help the clan. So okay, really good, really good. So this is something that Shining Stripe is going to continue. Now, fascinatingly enough, right, with Bearpelt, he was the one kitten from a young age who actually spoke up against his father quite a lot. But then, in his adolescence, his personality started being shaped a lot by his father. And then as an adult, the fact that he has had this kind of arc and transformation, where I feel like as a young adult, Bearpelt is very different to the way he was as a kitten. And yes, there were a lot of things he saw and noticed about his father and disagreed with, but now he feels as though he's kind of in his right for keeping his father's memory alive, of taking in some of those traits that he didn't really like when he was younger. Maybe because he was too young to kind of enjoy and reap the benefits of those privileges. And Shining Stripe, what do you look like when you're not mourning? Oh, look at him! He's a pretty cat. He's a pretty cat, isn't he? He's lovely, with that rump that looks like a tree stump that I'm never going to forget because it's so unique. And then we have his sister, who has maintained her playfulness and a good fighter. Her name, Flare Whisker. Flare Whisker might be interesting. Flare Rock. Flare Rock. Flare Shine. Maybe Flare Shine. Because she's got the cobalt eyes. Flare Shine. I don't know. Flare Tuft. Flare Moth. Actually, her coat kind of maybe mothy. Flare Moth. I don't know. Flare Snow. Flare Kite. Flare Freckle. Maybe Flare Freckle. Because her coat's got the speckles, almost like freckles. So maybe Flare Freckle. Okay, that seems like a decent name. Playful, good fighter. Let's have a look. She was mentored by Scorchmoss and Icicle Speck. Scorchmoss influenced her to be more likely to put others at ease and use teeth and claws over words. When she graduated, she was honored for her determination. Okay, so Icicle Speck, it seems, who was feeling underappreciated in the last episode, didn't really have much to pass on to Flare Freckle, if anything at all. It's like, maybe he felt as though he was just dumped an apprentice, and that's why he was feeling unappreciated or underappreciated, and he just did the bare minimum to get her through, but really there was nothing he could teach her. But I can kind of see Scorch Moss, because of her calm nature, encouraging Flare Freckle to make sure that for the cats around her, you know, if anyone ever speaks up and wants to play, or like wants to talk to her, then she creates a calm and easy environment for them. Flare Freckle is very playful, and sometimes she can be very high energy, and that might, you know, intimidate someone who's feeling vulnerable. So she probably taught Flare Freckle, yes, maintain your playfulness, because that's probably something that Scorch Moss liked in Flare Freckle. Flare Freckle used to be very lonesome when she was young, and when she first started her apprenticehood, and then she gained the playfulness as she gained confidence, which Scorch Moss definitely wanted to keep, but she probably, you know, also let Flare Freckle know that try and not be overbearing with other cats who might be less energetic than you. But also, I mean, she is a good fighter, and I can see Scorch Moss kind of teaching Flare Freckle that, you know, sometimes words don't get your point across. Sometimes you do have to use your teeth and claws to make a point, and don't be afraid to do that. Just because sometimes you prefer to solve things physically than speaking it out, that doesn't make you a bad cat per se. That just makes you a very I think, like a doing cat. That just makes you a doing cat, you know what I mean? So don't feel as though you have to try and be like me, and don't feel as though you have to try and be like others who are more conversational than you. Yes, create an environment of ease where you can listen to others, but if you don't really want to speak, or if you feel like speaking is not getting your point across, you know, feel free to put down your paw and make a point. So that's what we have for Flare Freckle. And what does she look like when she's feeling good? Ooh, Flare Freckle looks pretty. Oh my goodness, with those raspberries on the side of her head, in her fur. She actually looks like a very, very pretty cat. Oh my goodness, Flare Freckle. Honey. We can't see the raspberry when she's curled up like this, but yeah, she's a fine looking cat. Okay, so that's what we have for our new adults. We have Bear Pelt, Shining Stripe, and Flare Freckle, whose names I like much better. But okay, let's go check out the Medicine Cat Den. Icicle Speck has White Cough, that's right. And oh, hold on a second. Buttercup Fin can only care for 14 members. 14 members, which is what we have right now. So if the clan expands, guys, then Fernstar is going to have to actually get another royal physician. If the clan expands, Fernstar is going to have to promote Scorch Moss into royal physician to help Buttercup Fin, because Buttercup Fin can't take care of a bigger clan than what we have right now. And Flailstorm is going to be brought into the King's Court as the new matchmaker. Huh, okay, so I gotta remember that. Well, let's go through, and I think I already read the Medicine Cat Den. No, I didn't. Fernstar was given time as treatment for grief-stricken. Scorch Moss was given Ragwort as treatment for recovering from birth. Shining Paw was given time as treatment for grief-stricken. Flare Paw was given time as treatment for grief-stricken. Fire Kit was given Plantain as treatment for fleas, and then got rid of her fleas, and Buttercup Fin could not find any herbs this moon. Okay, so now let's take a look at relationships. Fernstar is prancing around in front of Smokewater. We're gonna have to see the timeline for when they become mates. It seems as though the king, I forgot about this. It seems as though the king was the one who started giving Smokewater finally more attention, and I wonder if that's because after becoming king and getting all these, you know, responsibilities and stuff, maybe like a hit of reality, Fernstar realized, like he looked at Watergale and Scorch Moss, and he realized that there wasn't any space for him in Watergale's life anymore. There was no point pining after him. Whereas Smokewater, who's been faithful to him this whole time in his affection, maybe Smokewater finally deserved a response. Both Fernstar and Shadekid enthusiastically congratulate another clanmate on something. Crowpelt, the king's right hand, hopes Smokewater likes him as much as he likes Smokewater. I'm assuming this is a friendly thing, but I'll have to check later on. Crowpelt watches Flarepaw training for something and nods approvingly at her progress. So this was before the warrior ceremonies. Flailstorm got a weird look on his face when Scorchmoss approached him. The clan hears Scorchmoss and Flarepaw laughing together across the camp. So we have some Flarepaw spending time with her previous mentor. I kind of like the idea that Flarepaw, even though she kind of knew that Scorchmoss wasn't able to do her training as a matchmaker, like newly entering the king's court, I like the idea that Flarepaw still ran off to spend time and learn things from Scorchmoss, even though Icicle Speck was the one who was supposed to be mentoring her. Maybe that's also partly why Icicle Speck felt as though he was underappreciated by both maybe the king and his apprentice. Icicle Speck claimed to catch the prey that Shining Paw caught on their patrol. Flarepaw stands up for Flailstorm during a patrol. Flailstorm gets a bunch of cats out for morning stretches and they don't like it. Flailstorm notices that Flarepaw always gets better fresh kill to eat. Both Watergale and Icicle Speck enthusiastically congratulate another clanmate on something. Shadekit gives up on trying to reassure Watergale. Watergale was caught enjoying a moonlit stroll with Scorchmoss last night, again, so these two spending time together, being completely in love, and having no space for anyone else in their relationship. When they return from a patrol, Smokewater and Scorchmoss seem more at peace with each other than usual. Okay, I wonder if Smokewater, maybe sensing the change in King Fernstar, went to speak with Scorchmoss about, the cats they were interested in, like Watergale, Smokewater, and this whole Fernstar situation, and he was happy for Scorchmoss, and I think Scorchmoss was happy for him as well, and they're both kind of at peace with where everyone was at in terms of their love story. Smokewater was noticeably distracted while Bearpaw was trying to tell a story, and maybe she encouraged him to actually go confess to Fernstar if Fernstar is giving him attention now, and don't doubt himself and don't wait. And so later on, when Smokewater comes back to camp and Bearpaw is trying to tell him a story, he's like distracted because he's thinking about the advice that Scorchmoss gave him of like going for it. And then I love the fact that straight after that is when he goes to Fernstar, goes to the king, confesses his feelings, and the king actually accepts him. So there we go. A wonderful story with the timeline. Buttercup Finn keeps telling Smokewater to stop saying a joke, but Smokewater doesn't take her request seriously. Buttercup Finn dispels a bad rumor about Shadekit. Shining Blink, and so they had their ceremonies, the warrior ceremonies at this point. Shining Blink and Watergale chat idly about the latest meeting. Flareclaw sees Icicle Speck stand up for a clanmate despite the pushback from his peers. When tucking in for the night, Bearpelt saw Shadekit fixed his nest. Firekit hears a nice story about Flailstorm. Firekit, Crowpelt, and Flailstorm took a sunbath and had a little small talk. Shadekit and Flailstorm keep making each other yawn. Fernstar takes the sunny spot that Palekit was about to lay in. That's not nice. That's not nice, Fernstar. But that's what we have for the events, so let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, let us have a look at the cat list. So first up, we have loyalties, and there has actually been a change. So guys, Flare Freckle has decided that she is going to be an anti-loyalist, or that feels like a big declaration when I say, they're a loyalist or anti-loyalist, but maybe we can interpret this as Flare Freckle's loyalty is wavering towards the new king, because Flare Freckle has just suddenly realized that before her father died, he did announce to the clan that as soon as Flare Freckle becomes a young adult, he's going to pair up with one of the males. And maybe Flare Freckle felt a bit more confidence regarding this when her father was alive. But now that Fernstar is king, she really doesn't know what kind of match Fernstar is going to make for her. And she's nervous about that. Whether or not she's going to get along well with her mate. So that's why I think Flare Freckle's loyalty is wavering a little bit. So there is that. And then in terms of relationships that I checked up on, there was an interesting change, and the change was between 3 of the cats. It was Fernstar, Crowpelt, and Smokewater. So guys, if we look at the timeline, Crowpelt actually started having feelings for Smokewater. He started noticing Smokewater. I mean, Crowpelt's known about this, love triangle for a long, long time. And maybe after him giving up on Watergill and then him giving up on Scorchmoss, like he's had a thing for both of them at one point, he finally looked at, how everyone is connected, and he thought to himself that Smokewater has been ignored by Fernstar this whole time, kind of like I've been ignored by Watergill and Scorchmoss, and he started really seeing Smokewater and thinking to himself that actually we're more alike than I thought, and he seems like a very, nice cat, a cat that I want to get to know more, and I think Crowpelt started having some feelings and hoping that maybe Smokewater would return them with time if they got to know each other a little bit more. And then, I feel so bad for him, but then all of his kind of little, his hopes were crushed when suddenly Smokewater and Fernstar announced that they were mates. So there was that big thing. Now I quickly want to check up between Fernstar and Smokewater to see how they feel towards each other right now before we pair up Flarefreckle. So let's take a look. So Ferntail and where is he? Ferntail and Smokewater. Right. So this is currently how these cats feel about one another. They view each other as friends, but they're not in love with one another. It's very obvious that Smokewater has liked Fernstar for a long time, and Fernstar has finally started reciprocating Smokewater's feelings, but neither of them are in love with one another just yet. Now, this isn't a formal arrangement, obviously. It was something they chose, and they do like each other a lot, but, it's definitely something that's taken Fernstar a long time to get around to and finally accept. And Smokewater, I think, right now, even though Crowpelt is crushed, Smokewater would be over the moon because finally the thing he was wanting and hoping for is here. It's getting reciprocated, right? After all of his patience and waiting around. So now we have Flarefreckle's pairing, and the drama is going to continue, guys, because Fernstar has decided that even though he now sees Smokewater and that he is now going to, reciprocate Smokewater, and yes, he does have feelings for Smokewater, and actually he has more feelings for Smokewater than Watergill, which is surprising. It's the first time it's ever happened. Up until this point, it was always Watergill for him. But yeah, he realized the situation, and he thought, you know what, I should finally look at Smokewater. I've been looking at the wrong cat this whole time, because the cat I've been looking at doesn't have space for me or time for me, right? Despite all of that, Fernstar wants to, I think maybe as his way of showing affection and showing preference and privilege, he wants Smokewater to be the cat who is paired up with Flarefreckle, and obviously that means even though this relationship is very new, he has to break it off. Now, I wonder how Smokewater is going to take that, because Smokewater is the one who pursued Fernstar, confessed to Fernstar, has liked Fernstar more this whole time, and then Fernstar is the one breaking it off between them to make a formal match between Smokewater and Flarefreckle. So I don't know how Smokewater is going to take this. Like, wouldn't you take it as a bit of a rejection? So, okay, let's go ahead. He is going to break it up with Smokewater. And they're actually not a compatible match, which is fascinating. And then he is going to pair up Smokewater with Flarefreckle, who he is a compatible match with. He's lonesome and she's playful. So we're going to go ahead and do this and see how the two of them go. Obviously with Smokewater, I need to make sure that he can have kits. And I need to make sure that Flarefreckle can have kits as well. So, okay, let's go to the matchmaker and see how things go between the two of them. Oh no, the matchmaker can't work. Well, that's okay. Even if the matchmaker can't work, we can at least take a look at maybe how they feel. So we have Flare Freckle and we have Smoke Water. So from the looks of it, obviously these two are going to start off by seriously considering one another to see if, you know, they want to have kids with the other cat. If Smoke Water is not happy with this arrangement, he can break it off. If Flare Freckle is not happy with this arrangement, she can break it off. And they won't be forced into it again. But for now, they're going to seriously consider this. And I mean, they are compatible, right? Now, they both do feel comfortable with one another, and they do trust one another, but it's going to take time to see, really, whether or not this playful nature is going to work with Smoke Water's lonesome self. But I don't know, guys, if Flare Freckle decides that, yeah, she is interested in getting to know this cat, and Flare Freckle, you know, she's never had any sort of romantic attachments to anyone, so Smoke Water is going to be the first time she's ever looked at a cat in this way. But I could totally see how her playful nature might help alleviate some of Smoke Water's loneliness, and she's so energetic and full of life that if they do work out, she might bring out the warmth that has been hidden in Smoke Water this whole time, because he just hasn't been getting that appreciation and attention from the cats he has been pursuing, or the one cat he's been pursuing, you know? So we'll have to see how this works out. I'm very intrigued. But I feel like kittens between them with their coats and their eyes would be very, very fascinating. I think Smoke Water, he has a smoke pelt, if I'm not mistaken. He does. He has smoke pelt and heather blue eyes, which is very pretty. And then Flare Freckle has the cobalt eyes and the speckled pelt. And if we look at their descriptors, Smoke Water is a silver smoke and white tom, and then Flare Freckle is a speckled black and white she cat. So they might have like black and white kittens, which I think would be very, very interesting, or like gray kittens, silver kittens. Okay, let's see what everyone is doing for the day. Fernstar is having a nice conversation with the cats guarding camp. Crowpelt can't keep up with Shade Kit. Buttercup Fin saw a kitty pet sitting calmly next to a dog. Scorch Moss is crushing leaves under her paws, so she is actually helping out at the medicine cat den. Flailstorm is chasing a butterfly around camp. Icicle Speck wants to train. Bear Pelt is helping. He's crushing leaves under his paws, so he and Scorch Moss are actually helping his mother, Buttercup Fin, at the medicine cat den because she's a little bit in over her head. Shining Stripe is dozing off. Flare Freckle wonders how Watergill is doing. Watergill just can't find anything appetizing on the fresh kill pile. Yeah, maybe he was fussing around about the food he can't find to eat. And Flare Freckle was wondering whether or not he finally found that meal he was looking for. Smoke Water leaps into a pile of fallen leaves. Okay, he seems in good spirits so far, it seems. Fire Kit is watching Shining Blink work. Shade Kid is taking a nap with Fire Kit, which is so cute. So he's taking a nap with his sister, and his sister's not quite asleep. She's watching Shining Blink work. Pale Kit is going everywhere backwards today. Pale Kit, why are you so funny? Pale Kit is so funny. But okay, that's all we have for the cats at this point in time with the cat list. I'm very, very curious about how Smoke Water is going to interpret Fernstar's actions. She's doing it. Oh, sorry, I keep calling Fernstar she, but he's doing it as a way of showing preference to Smoke Water and allowing his bloodline to continue. But Smoke Water, who's been pursuing Fernstar for so long, might take this as a rejection. Because he's the one who pursued her and confessed to her. Again, him. I keep mistaking Fernstar as a she-cat. My bad. Okay, but that's the cat list. Let's cut the recording here and continue with patrols. Okay, we are resuming with patrols. We currently have 80.2 per A, and we need 29, so we don't have to worry too much about food. Let's send off Buttercup Fin, our royal physician, out first. The time plants are running out of growing time. Buttercup Fin better go harvest them before leaf fall is over. Proceed. The urgency drains out of Buttercup Fin as they sit amongst the calming time, and it's not just the herb stores that'll feel the benefit of this gathering trip. So time was gathered. And then we have a patrol with Bear Pelt, Flailstorm, and Crowpelt going out. So let's see what these guys get up to. The patrol finds a nice spot to sun themselves. Proceed. No one means to, but, well, Crowpelt is the first to wake up from the group nap. It's not exactly productive for training, though. It's difficult to regret warm pelts and sleepy, slow-blinking eyes. Okay, I think with all of them, like, the pressure in camp, the grieving, things that have been going on, the huge changes, I think everyone, nobody's really motivated to go out and do hunting or patrolling or anything. They just want to relax. I think maybe get away from all of the grief. And also, I'm so sorry if you guys can hear moving around and scraping and all these kind of things in the recording. But I have someone working on the roof right now, which is, hopefully you guys can't hear that, but if you can, that's what all the noise is. Okay, so that's what we have for the cats. And it is now leaf fall. Okay, the grotto looks very, very pretty. It actually looks like the forest outside the grotto is on fire, doesn't it? It's kind of scary. But okay guys, with that said and done, I'm gonna leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.